Hey everyone, welcome to Murder Moose. Murder Moose. Part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. I'm Rod, and with me is Josh, as always. What's up, dude?
Dude, we're doing a movie this week that I think is the 100% perfect packaged. It's got a bow on top for this show. Like, we do half foreign and half this exact fucking movie. This is the movie. This is it right here. The indie, the indie right here. Everything I ever wanted in an indie horror it's comedy way more than it is horror at all.
Oh yeah,
it is just straight comedy genius.
Yeah.
So fucking funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But like, and it's so funny because even the horror parts are a joke.
Yeah.
So everything's a big joke in this movie, and it's just I haven't laughed that hard in a long time, man.
Yeah.
In a long time.
I was laughing a lot during the I came into it. I'm like, this is gonna be ridiculous, and then it was way more ridiculous than I thought it was gonna be. And it was
perfect.
Yeah.
It was everything I've ever wanted in a movie called Psycho Goreman. But I love Steven, man. Like, the guy who wrote and directed this, and like the whole team behind it. So like Adam Brooks is also in the editor, which I was on like a call with you, I think, one time, and you're like, what's that poster? And I was like, this is the editor, man. You gotta see this fucking movie. That's the movie. And then also Father's Day, that's the like Astron 6 team. Canadian, like they make cheesy horror movies like this on purpose. On purposely, like, really cheesy and funny. And the brand and that humor is just, you don't see it done like this very often. Like, in any movies, it's so their brand is perfect.
It's, I mean, we've been doing this. This is episode, what, 19 or something like that?
Yeah,
18, 19. And how many of them have done real horror comedies? I could think of like Snatchers and stuff like that. And there's other stuff we've done, but like Snatcher sticks out. And now this one sticks out to me a lot because of what it is and how this movie handled it. And
I just like, but even down to like the brain. Every time the big brain was on screen, it was perfect. Every time, everything they did with the brain and people's reactions to it was perfect.
Yep.
How long it stayed on screen, very like, I don't know, like, everything was so perfect.
So the movie, it's. We want to talk about, like, I don't know, and it made me giggle of how many, like, there were South Park jokes in this movie. There were I kind of like felt like the humor in this movie was very like relatable to things like South Park, and even like there are like Rick and Morty type things in this where it's just like everything's completely insane and just it's handled with this deadpan attitude of like
total deadpan.
Yeah.
The entire movie is one deadpan joke, and I love it.
It's super rare for anything to act like a couple incidences of like people freaking out in the movie, and it's like, this is a like. But
the character,
exception.
Mimi, the little girl, just is perfect because she's so over the top in everything. The friend's reaction is, your sister fucking crazy? It's like, I think she is.
So, you know,
and she is, but it's so awesome.
So I was thinking the whole time I was watching this movie, the little sister was she reminded me of Louise from Bob's Burgers. Like this diabolical genius child who doesn't care that she's the youngest. She just fucking destroys everyone around her, and she does not give a fuck. And this is I have to give a movie props. Like, this movie has such a little like this self-contained universe for like 80 something minutes that it is, and it starts off with this made up game that they come up with for this thing, and is
so good.
It's like this central plot element, and then like I everything about this movie is like perfect. Like, it reminds me of again, like we talk about Snatch. I said Snatchers a little bit ago, but it's this movie that knows what it is, and it goes, we can't
perfectly 80s in every respect, and even when it's like showing you the glue that's putting it together, it's revealing that on purpose as a joke to itself, because it is so self-aware of what it is. Like the scene where all of a sudden he's dressed up like a fucking cowboy and it's all sunlight. He looks so terrible, and it's showing that it's like a costume completely. But that's the joke, and it's so perfect.
Was it just me, or was he dressed up like Sam Nielsen from Jurassic Park? That's what like his outfit was. Like he was like exactly dressed up like that.
Oh my god, dude. Even the table full of aliens, like, oh my god, and then that one where it's just like, and the mouth is just moving. Is so fucking good. It reminds me of so many things, but like, again, it's a tip to the hat and done. Oh my god, this is. I've never found a more perfect movie for myself.
I mean, it's your goal. It's your weekly thing, anyways. But you want to read us the synopsis of this little gem?
Okay. Yeah, you just said it, Gem. After unearthing a gem that controls an evil monster looking to destroy the universe, and a young girl and her brother use it to make him do their bidding. And dress up like... Is that what he was... Oh, I didn't see it like that. I thought it was a cowboy. Oh, I love this movie.
No, he was...
When you said it, because The Void was one of those movies, and it's the guy... Steven is the writer-director of The Void. And that universe, I haven't felt like a movie created a universe. Like, before that movie, it had been a long time where I had felt completely immersed in like an actual universe that I needed to know more. And like, I'm obsessed with monster movies anyways, but this is everything for my love of that times 10, because it I don't know, The Void is like we're taking it seriously, but it's still super cheese and B movie awesomeness. But this is, I don't know, man. It's perfect for the comedy it is.
What I love, it's another movie that we go into and dive into, and you could tell every single person involved in this movie was just having a fucking blast. Like, and they have some talented people in this movie, like from the directing and the cinematography, and even the actors who were like, I think did a really good job of doing that right level of cheese, like, and being serious when they had to, and like, and
I keep thinking about the end credits.
Where it's just the kid rolling up to his dinner with his parents as the giant brain, and is just like, they're just like, "Are you gonna eat?" "No, I'm good." It's like, what the fuck? It's completely like,
it's the best.
It's because it's so much more amazingly funny when you take something completely like this completely asinine moment and you just act like it's normal, and it's which is so much of this movie. And it's like the very couple times that you have like a complete over the top like reaction to it is very limited. Like there's a couple characters, like there's a couple cops that show up at some point, and they're like that freaking out, and then the mom kind of freaks out at one point, but the rest of the time everyone's just like, "Oh, what is this dude? I mean, what is this?" And
no, I love the dad character, because they do they flip the stereotype on its head, where the characters that you're used to being able to save the day are the wimpiest fucking characters ever. He's like goes to dig a hole with a shovel and goes and like sprains his wrist and like calls in sick for work and gets fired because he's the laziest person in the world. And the way they play that off is so funny. So funny. And but that's Adam Brooks's, like, now I'm seeing his brand, because I've seen him do it in a few of those other movies, and it's so funny every single time I see it.
Well, it's you have these two kid actors. So like the main characters are like Mimi and her brother Luke, and you're sitting there and So we're not gonna spoil it yet. We'll get into like probably like a half an hour in, maybe a little bit before that. But they find this alien, and the sister is this girl is gonna grow up and like ball bust like probably 5 or 6 husbands to death. That's like how bad this girl busts balls, and she starts busting the balls of this alien overlord who was like taking over the galaxy, and then like it got like stopped by basically it was like space angel robot cops or I can't even use all I can think of. There's like these characters in Magic the Gathering that I thought of, like the main angel Praetor thing or whatever the fuck she was. I would say Praetor. The Praetor is a thing from Magic the Gathering, but
all the like practical effects in this movie are so awesome though. Like they're to that like 80% like completely amazing, and that like that other 20% would have made it insanely expensive probably, but the 80% there makes it look like super expensive for the 80s, but like still an insanely well done, but like cheese factor up to 110 for 2020. Does that make any fucking sense?
No, you're completely So it again, it's that I was kind of talking about it a little bit before, but it's that thing where they go, we're doing this comedy / horror movie, but we also know that like we don't have $1 bazillion. This is never gonna look like Godzilla versus King Kong, right? You're not using CGI and everything. This is all practical effects, and I think that's a big reason you and I love these type of movies so much, is because they're just pure practical effects. And it's like you can go into a movie and like say you put this in every theater in America, and there would be tons and tons of theaters where people will go in and go, well, why are they using special like why is there CGE? You know, it's like. And it's just sitting there and you go, well, that's not what this is about. Also is budget thing. This is a movie about like this smaller, probably a couple $1 million at the most they used to make this movie. And just loving to do something and just trying to have fun making a movie about an evil galactic dictator type like monster kind of thing, and making him relatable and like kind of being real fond of him by the end of the movie, right? Which is funny because he's still an evil.
My hunky boys.
I tweeted out while I was watching it. I was like, I don't care about hunky boys, or maybe I do care about hunky boys. And it's just so like, fucking funny. Yeah, and it's just like he kind of gets turned on or something like it, and it's just like, oh my god, I fucking love it. And it's everything. It's really awesome practical effects, funny moments, characters that are just really kind of like,
and all the visual effects are fucking amazing. Like they're so funny and perfect for the brand that the picture that we're painting for you. It is everything you want. And that brain, I have to put the brain. I've been doing these posters every week, and they're so fun to do. And this week, I have to have a lot of fun with it and make that brain. And
I love it because they also do the thing where they, there are practical effects that I don't think are very good in the movie, and they show you a tiny bit of it so you can know what's happening, but like you can't sit there and stare at it and like, you know, like the mouth opening scene, right? The scenes are very like, I don't think that effect
really good though.
I think that it comes across like that because they only show it for like that and flashes
then they go behind because and then there's a lot of blood.
If you sat there and stared at it, you'd be like, oh, you would catch the man behind the curtain that is Oz if you sat there and you looked at the like that kind of scene and what was happening and why it was like that. So but
if you've seen the editor, like that's done in like their houses essentially, right? Like and
that's
and a few different like apartments and stuff like that. But like this one's like the bigger budget. Like this isn't I don't know who produced this one. I don't know. But the editor, like their posters are way too good, by the way. Like all their posters that they get done are unbelievable. I love all their freaking Astron
I love the subtext on the poster, and it says "little girl, big psycho," and you go,
Yeah.
you kind of think it is talking about the little girl, and then Psycho
Him. Yeah.
Goreman, but nope, the big psycho
It's just her.
is the little girl, and
Yeah.
you sit there and you go, oh, okay, and yeah, it is. So I mean, it's funny
I
because
love the poster because you can see the melted cop's face, and
Yeah.
it's so, the minion cop was so funny. Oh man, there's just so many like gold characters
Yeah.
in this.
It's so good. Like the character design in this movie was perfect because
Yes.
you have from Psycho Goreman himself just looking. He's like this kind of like space demon / like swamp thing kind of thing, like right or like he's this like his design isn't like super original. Like it's this suit that
No,
is
it's like something
it's
that you
like,
would see from
yeah,
the 80s.
yeah. It's slick, but it's not like like it's cool and slick, but it's not like oh, I've never seen anything like that. It's like a rubber
Yeah.
suit where like this cool demony head thing. But
The brain is the best.
yeah, the brain is awesome, and then there's a scene where the people are trying to go after Psycho Goreman, or determining what to do with going after Psycho Goreman, and there's like what 6-8 characters, and they're all really really well designed. And then later in the movie, Psycho Goreman's people show up, and they're all really
They're
really
all-
really well designed.
It's like Garbage Pail Kids, like all the
Yeah,
cards
yeah.
that you used to get, like that I used to collect and stuff. Like, but it reminds me of that. Like every single one is just like the next like limited edition awesome Garbage Pail Kid made into an amazing looking fucking 3D thing, and then destroyed in front of you.
So there's a movie that it kind of like. It's not the same level of like what it is, but there's a Japanese movie called Tokyo Gore Police.
Yes, love that
which
movie, man.
which is all I can describe it as, if you've never seen it, is Power Rangers, but like with the goriest horror.
Way more sprayy blood than any Kill Bill movie.
Yeah.
Like there's so much blood spraying everywhere in that movie, man.
Yeah, but it's
It's
shot exactly. It's shot exactly like an episode of Power Rangers. Like the way they shoot it, like it's just you just add
Yes.
blood on top of it, and just like all that stuff, and
funny as hell.
boobs and stuff like that. But the kind of like it hits the same Psycho Goreman thing at points where it kind of Psycho Goreman kind of goes into that schlocky kind of thing, because they have to. They don't have like, and they do a really good job of like making it like enjoyable doing it, and it's because again,
It
they don't
had too catchy of a name for me not to watch it. Tokyo Gore Police. It sounds like a fucking rad metal band, or like like it's just too cool and too catchy of a name.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's funny. The first time I bought that movie on DVD years and years ago, and first time I watched it, it like fucked my head up. Like I made it probably a half an hour in, 20 minutes in, and I'm like, I'm not like. You have to be in that spot mentally to go into that movie, I think. And then
It's hilarious.
I was making YouTube video reviews last year of weird movies, and I did that movie, and I'm like, man, this movie is really entertaining. It's just weird as fuck. Like it showed up on some Watch Mojo or something list that I watched recently, and I'm like, yeah, this movie is just weird as shit. In this movie, it's a that might be a interesting watch at some point, but it's that thing where you have that American flavor, or that American like or Canadian. It's Canadian, right? But it's got that North American kind of flavor to it, right? It's
What, Psycho Goreman?
yeah.
Oh yeah, like, well, just because Adam's in it, and all the Astron boys are like, I think they're from like Saskatchewan or something, and I can't yell from the rooftops enough. All those movies, they're so fucking weird, but they are so good. And every time I've ever like told someone else, like, oh, I don't know, man, have you ever like had misjudged someone's like movie fileism or something, like they think they're an actual movie file, and they're like, oh, you gotta like recommend me a fucking movie, man, like you're the guy. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm the fucking guy, but like how much of a movie like are you gonna be, like how weird do you want to go? Because I can recommend anything. So I recommended those movies to someone, and they don't get it, man. Like people don't get this brand. So I don't know, man. It's so good.
You have to go in. The problem is that a lot of people, and I'm not saying everyone, but there's a lot of people who go into, especially foreign movies, and they just have this, like, I think they have this idea in their head going into it that it's going to be, they're not going to enjoy it because it's not from America. It's not a Hollywood movie. Yeah, and you sit there and you go,
I want to see everything. Yeah. I don't care where it's from, who made it. Like, fuck that. Yeah. If you're saying it's a good movie, put it in front of my eyes. I want to. Yeah. I want to enjoy this.
So over the weekend, for the first time in some years, I watched. I tweeted about it from our account actually, but I rewatched Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Oh yeah.
And that movie is weird as fuck. Like with the it's got a lot of that same kind
of. I love the aesthetics though. Like, yeah, that's like even the poster, like the color scheme, the red, yellow, whatever. I still remember that type of stuff. And it like, it's not just like a movie. It's the whole thing. It's the art direction behind it after the fact. It's the whole package to me. And if a movie takes that extra step and a team can get it to the finish line with that whole like painted picture as well to it, that's like where you catch my eye a little bit more, and then I remember, like,
Well, the problem is too, dude. It's like you and I, as most people who are probably listening to this, because they're obviously like into movies at that point, but like we've watched a lot of movies, like a lot of movies. I mean, you and I are watching 2, 3, 4 movies a week. I would guess most of the time, and I know that with you and the kids, you're not watching as many that you would pick out.
Like one a week at this point, maybe 2 if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
But before kids and before my wife and stuff, I used to not have TV ever. Like I would only watch like 4 to 5 movies every single day or more. Yeah. And that's why my collection's so huge. But even with this show, it's like we're talking about stuff that I've already seen, and like I want to see it again because I'm that guy.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. I'd rather usually chuck in things that I haven't seen before, but like.
Oh, same, totally. That's why I like the newer movies too. Like especially we're doing like we're kind of reviewing movies. We're more just like discussing. Well, I don't know what we're doing. I love it. But I don't know. Yeah. It's not like the classic like review or anything.
Yeah,
we're definitely giving our opinions, but
it's bullshitting about things, but as a less cemented format, right? I like talking about this and talking in this kind of format because it is. Yes. It feels more like it's just like a couple. I mean, it's what it is. We're a couple buddies talking about crazy ass shit that we like. With cinema, so it's what it is, right?
It works. It works because we have something to add on the other end when it comes to movies, because we've watched a fuck ton.
So many. I mean, it's a lot of movies. I mean, I
just appreciate them on like a very personal level. Like it's deep rooted. I don't know. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor so badly. Yeah. And then I saw Jurassic Park, and then I was like, I need to make films. Like, it doesn't matter about being an actor. I need to make them because this is a ride. I went on a fucking ride. And I had never been on a ride in a movie. Like, I felt like I just, like, and I was like, man, I left that theater changed. And, it, like, I don't know, man. Like, but that's a monster movie too, right? Like, that's a monster movie done 110% right. They only show dinosaurs for like 20 minutes in that movie, and the rest is build up and horror and like the tension build and stuff.
Yeah,
like it's Spielberg, man. He's a fucking genius.
He made one of the best monster movies ever with Jaws, so it's like it is.
Yeah, he gets it.
It's funny though, because especially now you see, I mean, even going back to Jurassic Park. No, I'm saying you see his name attached to things, and I don't think people go like, it's that this director who's made E.T. and they go, okay, we're gonna watch his movies, and I think that people overlook that kind of movie for being horror because it's a Steven Spielberg thing. And it's like, do you guys know? I mean, Steven Spielberg is, real into horror because he had a lot to do with the Poltergeist. He kind of.
You know what, man? I'm very sorry to cut you off. I do that all the time.
No, you're fine, man.
I'm very excited to see the new Ghostbusters because of a line I heard. I'm obsessed with Ghostbusters anyways. That's like a franchise that came out like right when I was a kid, and I just found this picture at my parents' house of me like opening on Christmas Day my like the tower that they had, the Ghostbusters tower. The fire hall or whatever.
Yeah. No.
And I love those movies. But Steven Spielberg sat down next to Reitman, who's that's the pass down of the torch, like the fact that it's in the family, like it's in good hands. He's an amazing director anyways. I love 85% of his movies or something that he's done. And but he sat down next to Steven Spielberg once, and Steven Spielberg said, "Oh, I heard you're doing you're doing the next Ghostbusters movies." And he said, the scene in the library is top 10 like horror scares of all time. Yeah. And he's just like horror scares. And then Reitman was like, "Oh." And it like sunk in the importance he had on his shoulders that this isn't just a comedy for kids. This is an actual horror movie too. And the first two work so well because they're actually fucking scary too. And done well. It's an 80s nostalgia, like perfect picture, those movies. They're PG, but there's scary parts, man. They're like the scary painting in the second one, still to this day, the visual is fucking creepy, right?
Dude, I always think of the end of that movie when they all the ghosts get out of the containment thing, and they're just like, and the music's going and it's kind of jamming, and also Sigourney Weaver gets fucking terrifying at the end of that goddamn movie. So like, with her weird ballerina 80s David Bowie look going on, but man, it is.
But that movie took risks. Yeah. And especially for its time, and that's why it was just like, well,
that's exactly what they
literally from out of this world.
The last remake didn't do. The last remake took zero risks and just used a bunch of jokes with people that can be funny, and just that movie actually made me angry.
I was super angry too. Yeah. They put an agenda on a franchise and tried to make money with it, and that's all they did. They didn't make a good film. They just attached an agenda to a franchise and cast a really good a whole bunch of awesome comedians, and and that was an abomination to me.
It is one of there are a lot of movies I have very, very like.
But it's a franchise, man. Like, you got to handle it with care. Yeah. Like, that is a big money-making franchise. Yeah. You can't just go and fucking shit on it that bad. It was a huge, like, just from a business standpoint, huge misstep.
We're both in our mid-30s, right? And we've grown up with these movies, but it's funny because we've also grown up with, you and I have grown up playing video games and stuff too, and it's... Yes. And it's funny watching like the same kind of things happen in movies and games where like the things we grew up with as kids being remade and updated.
They're trying.
How well it works
in the brand though. Brand recognition is huge in Hollywood. Yeah. It saves money because you don't have to spend as much to promote the characters. Yeah. So like they already have that especially like 10-year gaps. Yeah. Hollywood loves 10-year gaps because then it's a new generation or a new amount of people that can get into that brand again through the love of their parents being into it as well. That's why Ghostbusters again is coming back.
It'll be interesting because there's when you talk about 10-year gaps, and we're really off of Psycho Goreman again, which is fine. But so we're now
it's a monster movie. We're talking about monster movies.
We're over 10 years off of the Nightmare remake and the Friday the 13th remake. And
of course,
the Friday, I just saw updates.
Does Disney own those franchises yet too?
No, I don't think so. But It sounds like the Friday thing is in a state where that they're actually
It's
only
stuck.
they're actually only suing now over royalties from the remake for Friday now. So like
I loved the remake of Friday, man.
So,
that was a fucking good movie.
I liked a lot of it, and I talked to Andy about it at some point, and he pointed something out that actually kind of disturbed me, and it ruins part of that movie for me. They don't ever use the original score at all in that remake, which is actually one of the most idiotic things. After I realized that the
Are you sure?
Yeah, they never use.
Oh,
what? Yeah,
that's like that's the movie you get to do that in. Maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. Like
I think it was them trying to. It's
trying to like break free from it because it's like a joke now, right? Like you put it in, it kind of might have, because the whole tone of that movie is fast-paced aggression.
Yeah.
Like it is so you kill everyone you meet in the first 20 minutes of a movie. You sign me up, man. I'm fucking there. Yeah. And big logos, like those are all the things. Like heavy hitting impact for an audience to go, holy fuck! Like like that's why I love that movie so much, because it's a popcorn. They made it almost into like an action movie because of how like many people die in it and stuff.
Oh, I have issues with that movie, but none of them are huge. I really don't like the blonde dude in that movie, the one who's nice tits, or whatever.
You're supposed to hate him.
Yeah, I know.
And you hate him the right amount because he is the worst human being, but he has the best lines for you to hate him even more.
So
like that line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with that. And with Friday, because we're with Nightmare, because the Cravens family is trying to sell those rights off too, and with
it's so sad, man. Like I grew like Wes Craven, it was. I'm pretty sure the main reason why I am completely into horror, and it's Wes Craven, it's Freddy, and it's Scream. Those two movies.
Yeah.
Were the ones that like really got me interested. It's slasher, because I think slasher is like the best intro into horror for like a broad like amount of people.
Yeah, it's the interesting because it's streamlined horror. It's horror where you're doing it. It is a simple premises, like simple like concept, and just it going, okay, we're gonna have a bunch of stupid teenagers who are fucking and drinking and they're gonna get murdered off one by one. Not a hard concept to understand, and it's
but that's why like movies like Psycho Goreman are so fun, because monster movies can be so many different things. You look at like The Host, or just Host, rather. Or no, The Host. That's what we were getting confused about.
Yep.
The Host and Host. The Host is done with a paintbrush again, and it's just like a masterpiece. And it's so realistic, and I adore that movie.
The Host, but then the Host reminds me of the Korean Jaws, like that. I mean, and it's not there. But it's really, 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 really good, and it's that kind of quality.
Then we have the biggest monster movie we'll ever get in our lives coming out very, very soon. This is a massive franchise shit. King Kong versus Godzilla. Like this is just, it's been building up for years. I didn't know they were doing that. Apparently, all these fucking movies they've been putting out in the last 7 to 10 years or whatever are all linking together to this moment. Cool. Didn't know that. I don't actually fucking care either, but that's kind of cool, I guess. They're making a fucking cinematic universe for monsters now privately without actually doing it. They're just like saying it now.
Yeah, the first Godzilla movie that they made actually is kind of a boring movie, and I liked the King Kong movie with Captain Marvel and Loki, but like didn't love it because
I hated it. The Skull Island
Yeah.
or whatever was
Yeah.
it was fucking so stupid when they go they go through that huge amount of clouds and stuff like that. They're like and they get to the other side and the camera turns around and shows a sunset behind them. There's no clouds now, and all of a sudden there's another sunset, and then it's nighttime and another sunset. I'm like, who the fuck is in charge of like continuity in this movie? Just because you have Kong and you want them the hero shot in front of a fucking sunset doesn't mean it goes everywhere in the movie. I don't know. It was stupid.
It's the exact opposite of Psycho Goreman because it's all flash and no substance. It's popcorn.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, this tastes good right this second, but you're going to walk out of the theater and be fucking like, you're going to forget every ounce of what you just saw.
It was
AKA you're going to be hungry. You're going to need to go get a hamburger afterwards.
You don't fall in love with any character because all of it is just a CEO going, no, here's $13 million more dollars. Make it look more expensive. And in Psycho Goreman, monster movie, I love every single fucking character in this movie to death. And it looks cheap as hell, but it is amazing, and it is like a warm hug and a kiss. Good night.
So we could go in and spoil it then, but this movie's out on it's gonna be on Shudder this year, I think, but it's on demand.
It's a Shudder original.
Yeah, so it's on demand right now. So if you're interested and you're looking something cool to watch, go, and you love monster movies, go watch this. And it's got humor.
Just look at the fucking poster and you're gonna be like, oh man, what? How have I not known about this movie? I gotta watch this.
Yeah, it is. It's another movie you just make, damn, these motherfuckers love movies, and it's just so refreshing when it happens.
These are the type of movies I want to make, man. Yeah. Like this right
Oh, dude,
here.
it's perfect. It's just so much of, again, I've said it on here before, but like I think I love action movies, but my favorite two genres of movies are comedy and horror. And this is the thing where you just go, yep, you just fucking knock the shit out of the park out of both of them, and it's like, because
I want this poster on my wall. I want to like, I don't go out of my way to buy movies anymore. I'm going out of my way to buy this so I own the physical copy just so I can look at it and remember. Like, I don't know, man. I've had this like weird thing because, like, you know, I've stopped collecting movies because it's on demand and going out is, you know, it's a hassle and a half, and it's way more expensive to buy them. But still, I have no room. But I'm because I haven't even like touched them or looked at them for a while. More recently, I have, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, at a glance, I can see like a stack of like 10 movies in a row, and I'm like, holy shit, those are 10 amazing fucking movies. Like, damn, I gotta watch that one. And that, I didn't even, I'm like, I'm so glad I have this stack, because like, you go on Netflix or you go on anything on demand, you're scrolling. The experience is so different. There's no at a glance, like the side of them, or going to Blockbuster. And I just, I don't know, man. Like, I just found my like old Blockbuster. I'm just getting so nostalgic about like the thing about like movies. It's more there was like a collecting vibe to it. Like when you're collecting vinyl, I always did it for the art, and why I love movie toys so much. I put them on my wall as art so I can see the 3-dimensional and the movie poster and appreciate the movie on the level that I appreciate movies.
Yeah. So it's funny because right now my house is there are probably 500 Pop Funkos lying around my house. Most of them are my wife's, but right now our living room has like 87 Baby Yoda, Grogu,
nice.
Pop Funkos in it, and it's that thing where it's just that they're cute, but they're that detailed of something of a world that Jon Favreau is basically built. That is like,
he is a fucking genius.
I mean,
like, there's very few people in this world that understand the craft like him and Spielberg and like Christopher Nolan, and like they understand it with like, it's a paintbrush to them.
I don't think people understand because they just don't. What Marvel is right now is because of Jon Favreau. Like it's what Iron he Man, did with Iron Man and Iron Man 2. And was enough to build everything that is the Marvel universe. Iron Man is the start of that, and it's because of Jon Favreau, and he's doing that same thing with Star Wars right now. It's like this man is so talented. It's again, we talk about that, and we talk about this movie's directed by
but the
Steven.
franchise, but look at what the franchise would like. I gotta side rail this because Star Wars is one of the biggest, if not the biggest franchise in the fucking world. And they, as soon as it got handed off to Disney, it got put in the wrong hands a few times. And Star Wars and people's perception of the brand and its equity was fucking plummeting. It was going way, way down. I didn't trust Star Wars at all. I was like, two fucking clunkers in a row? What the fuck, man? Like, this is not okay, guys. This is side railing something that I hold so dear to my heart. And now with John,
it's
high five.
It just makes me laugh because you watch how well they did it with Marvel movies. And then you go, and then you shit on Star Wars so hard. It was amazing. But yeah, so this, I think Steven, is it Kostansky is how you say his name, right? He's the writer, director. He loves movies like these people. And I think that's why it's like, it's that thing where it's showing you when someone loves cinema and is good at what they do, it doesn't matter if they have $1 million budget or $150 million budget, because that love of cinema will carry through. The problem is when you have a $150 million budget, there are a lot more chefs in the kitchen and touching that food and doing it. And it's so much harder for like it. There aren't very many people in Hollywood that could go in there and do whatever the fuck they want and like just have shit not touched.
Like Christopher Nolan
and Christopher Nolan,
built his name and the trust and like. You get to a certain point in Hollywood, like it's a trust in a pull in numbers too, right? Like Tom Cruise has perfected making movies with a big team as well. So like people will go and see a movie just because his name is attached to it. A poster will just be his face because that it doesn't matter anything else that's in the movie. They spent half the budget on that face. So it's got to be on the poster. You get to that point, man, you're different. Everything about that movie is different because very important people are attached to it, right? So, but that's why I like indies, man, because it's the craft. It is nothing but love for the craft, and that's why this movie is a big glowing light. Because, like you said at the beginning, man, you can fucking tell everyone involved in this is in love with everything to do with this movie because it's fantastic.
And I think that's real important. So go watch this. So let's go watch this movie. It's fucking dope. It's just pure love cinema. So let's spoil it. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with spoilers. We talked about a lot of the specifics, but I kind of want to get into some of the shit that we talked about. So we're going to spoil it for the next, whatever, half an hour plus, whatever. This movie starts off with this brother and sister. The main characters are Mimi and Luke, and Mimi is really the main character, but they're playing this game called Crazy Ball, which is like the running joke in the movie is that the game is way too complicated.
It makes zero sense.
It makes zero sense, and all it is it's this. I mean, you really get the idea.
It's like dodgeball, essentially.
It's dodgeball, but all it is Mimi manipulating everyone to do what she wants and to play this game, and so she can win and be like victorious. Because this girl is like the big brain psychopath at like 8 years old. And so like they play this game, and her brother's beating her, but then what is it?
The switcheroo.
The
switcheroo goal or rule is the main rule that made it so she can win every fucking time because he'll never hit her and she'll destroy him every time. So the switcheroo is that like golden rule, fuck you rule that she made up just so she'll always win. Because
he won't hit her because she's a girl. So they when their balls hit midair, that whoever punches the other one first gets all the points plus one. And so basically she keeps doing this so she gets all the points and wins. And the brother was winning, and then she wins. So for some reason, though, so she wins this game and then makes him dig the biggest hole. The brother's like 11 or 12 or something. It's like, and she makes him dig a hole that I think would have taken an 11-year-old a week to dig or something.
Yeah,
like it's
totally.
like the biggest hole I've ever seen. And
it was like 9 feet deep, not 6 feet deep. It was fucking 9 feet deep.
I don't know how he got in the hole. I don't know how he got out of the hole. And they find this capsule that is like with this glowing stone, and the sister pulls it out, right? And which I don't know how she pulled it out either, but they and it's like this glowing, pulsating pink rock gem, and so then they bury the hole again, and so they don't get in trouble, go to bed. And makes me laugh though, like the whole time, like the mom like comes out and yells at him it's time to go to bed, and they're covered in mud, and she's like, what time is it? 9:00. What happens at 9? We go to bed, or whatever it is. And then it makes me laugh because then like they're like kind of busting Luke's balls because they're like, oh, you lost again, huh? And then they're like, with Mimi, they're like, stop fucking with your brother, you little twat. And they're like, they don't say that, but they're giving her shit because this girl is so manipulative. It's actually kind of insane.
Not kind of. It's full on. Like
yeah.
she gets called out a few times in the movie. Is she like actually psycho? I don't know. She shows a little tiny bit of empathy at the end,
but only for Psycho Goreman. It's like she doesn't get
brother. She knocks and apologizes in Morse code, but won't actually say the words because she is so
that's true.
Fucking, cried out the ass.
Again, this is like an R-rated version of Louise from Bob's Burgers. If you watch Bob's Burgers, it is
Louise. A kid's show, but it is gory. So that's what all the funny jokes are, like, because that whole like 9:00 thing, going to bed, it reminded me of like PJ Masks or something, like a kid's show.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Ernest Scared Stupid.
And then we'll continue this tomorrow, guys. I gotta go have an apple juice.
So after they go to bed, the Psycho Goreman, we cut to these 3 crackheads who have just robbed a house and killed someone, and it actually is kind of hysterical because they're like arguing over it. And there's one of the dudes is my favorite guy in the scene is this old homeless motherfucker with like 4 teeth, and he's just like, he stole this picture frame.
Why would you steal this?
And then Psycho Goreman shows up, the alien, and this motherfucker like gets pissed off at him because they're like talking shit to him, and then he explodes 2 heads at once, and it's just like, what? And it's gory as fuck, and you're like, holy shit. Yeah, this movie does not.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's over the top for sure. And then like he turns the other one into like a statue. It's like
art on the wall.
Yeah, but
no, the statue guy with the spinning eyes and stuff.
Yeah, like he's sitting there and he's like, but he's alive and he's suffering the entire time because Psycho Goreman is like,
eternal pain. He will never. He will suffer more than anyone has ever suffered in the universe. And then he accidentally gets pushed over and explodes.
Yeah, they're like, he's like, thank you. Yeah,
thank you. So good.
But and then so the next day the kids come out and they're like, they find the hole, and the Psycho Goreman came out, so all the mud that came out, and the mom's giving him shit, and then she tells the dad to bury it in, and this is what you're talking about, he's the lazy piece of shit, and he goes one time to dig to put mud in the hole, and he's like, ow, my wrist, and doesn't do shit. And so but then
he didn't even take like a swing. It didn't even like hit the ground. I was like, wait, what just happened? Oh, that's the joke.
Because you don't know yet that he's like a complete piece of shit. And so the kids these kids are out like way after dark, which is also fucking hysterical. They like give no shits where these kids are. They follow the foot tracks. They find the footprints from the scene, and they find Psycho Goreman in this warehouse where he killed these crackheads, including the knocking the guy over like you were talking about. And Psycho Goreman's like starting to tell him he's gonna kill him, but the girl tells him to stop, and he has to listen because of this stone she took, right? So it turns, then it's the rest of this movie is basically them fucking with everybody was in like with Psycho Goreman and like using Psycho Goreman as like as
a weapon.
Yeah, well, as Mimi's like plaything for her psychotic
like a
tendencies.
dog.
Yeah, and you start figuring out you figure out, does he tell him, or like you figure out that
he gives the whole backstory.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, the Luke asks him like, well, what, like, who are you? Like, what are you? And he's just like, oh. And
the night
all his like flashbacks to shit is so metal.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah, like, dude, it's so metal.
So like heavy metal, like the movie Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
As well. Like it reminds me of all the like the visuals from that, like in hell and riding like the fucking Pegasus from hell and shit into battle.
And it's so genius because he tells him, he's like, he was a slave. Like he was a slave. His people, his whole planet was enslaved by the quote unquote good people. And he was like digging holes, and he opens up this fucking like, he finds this rock which goes into his chest, the one that Mimi has. And it basically empowers him to just like get revenge. It's very like it's like
got legs, man.
Yeah.
Again, like these people understand creating a universe larger than the movie, giving all these, like everyone around that table of all the bad guys, I felt like they all had rich backstories too.
Oh yeah,
you know, like everyone, it felt like they were living before this, and they were going to continue living on after. And I want to know more. Again, like the Void, they understand, man.
Yeah, they just build
what they're doing, and it's all. I don't know, man. I love it so much.
They build this universe, and you're like, you feel like you're living in it, and you're not like, you don't feel like you're just watching a movie. You feel like you're like experiencing like this reality. And so
amazing puppets.
Yeah. Oh God. And so basically, he becomes the nightmare bringer or whatever he is, and he starts kicking, like he just starts destroying the universe, right? And somehow they get a hold of this stone that he had, and it captures him, and they basically put him in a box and send him to Earth. And so at that same time, they like the people that captured him they're like, oh no, his thing is woken up, and you meet all these people that are supposedly the good people, right? And like the main one is the one that reminds me of a character from Magic, because there's this thing called the Phyrexian symbol in Magic, which is just like a line with a circle in it. It's the same thing, and then they put like size on the side of it, that this on this angel chick's chest, and they're all like debating what they're gonna do, and the people that are supposed to be good guys are like, this angel chick is like, yeah, I'm going to go.
She reminded me of stuff from Power Rangers. Like, she looked like a Power Ranger.
Yeah, and she's like, you start going, oh, this bitch is fucked up, because she goes, bring me a human. And they just summon her a human from Earth, and it's like this random lady. And she's like, okay, and then like puts her into a box and squishes her. And you go, what the fuck? Because it's just like all her guts and like.
But I love that it's still alive and like pumping as a box, and you see like an ear on the side. So she kept it alive in this little cube in her hand. Like, that's the like horror parts that are a joke, because the visual is like, what the fuck? But then it's actually horrifying because it's, oh fuck, but then it's funny at the same time.
She takes the cube and she fucking smashes it on the table, and then goes, she like rubs her hand in the blood, and then rubs it across her face, and she's this white like, you know, character.
The contrast is amazing. It looks really good.
I mean, we just watched Thirst, right? And the Thirst has the scene where the house is painted white and there's the blood everywhere, and it's the same kind of thing. It's the same thing where have you ever seen Dead Snow?
Yes, dude, I saw that in the theaters.
Yeah,
I own it in like the steel case. I fucking dude, these types of movies, man.
Yeah, exactly. Dead Snow it's the same kind of thing where it's
perfection.
Blood.
They love Evil Dead.
Yeah,
so much.
Dude,
like,
there's some fucked up shit in that movie, and it's like, who wants to get a blowjob in a fucking porta potty? But that's regardless. But that's besides the point.
But those guys love American horror movies, and they're not from America. So it's so funny to see like it from like the other side. Like we love it. This is people from Canada loving horror movies and like their taste on it. Dead Snow is a perfect like they are obsessed with Army of Darkness and all that. Like they do the cut scenes from Army of Darkness in the shed and all that stuff like tons of times. And that's so good.
So basically at this point, Mimi starts controlling. Her and her brother Luke are like, what are we gonna name him? And she calls him Psycho, and the brother calls him Goreman. And then Mimi's like, he's Psycho Goreman, and so they call him PG and Psycho Goreman for the rest of the thing. And they bring him home, and the mom and dad are freaking out.
She's kind of like 11 at that point from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
just like hiding out and being like their little like weird alien thing. Yeah.
And they basically, Mimi just starts running around town with this dude, and like this is where your favorite character comes in. So Luke's got a friend named what's his name? It is, God damn it, I just saw it again. It is Alistair. And Alistair is a fucked up meme too in like horror. Whenever there's an Alistair, something bad happens to him or they're evil. But Alistair pisses Mimi off, and so she's like, make him suffer or something like that to Psycho Goreman, and he turned.
No, she said make him want to play ball with me.
Oh, is that what it was?
Shoot hoops. Like I want him to shoot hoops with me. So make him want to shoot hoops with me.
Mimi has
like, I'll make him balls.
Yeah, Mimi has a crush on this dude. Is what it's kind of implied the whole time, or like shown off, and then but she doesn't know how to handle it because she's like a little girl. And so Psycho Goreman turns Alistair into this huge brain. It's just like a giant brain that just crawls around. And nobody acts like it's crazy. Nobody. Everyone's just like, oh, whatever. And like Alistair, Alistair just crawls home.
I'll ever turn back? No, probably not. Okay, bye.
And he just crawls home. And
that's the best shit in the movie because it holds it like for the Family Guy amount of comedy of that. So it just like keeps going and shows how like terrible the back flap is on it, and it's just I actually think it's just they got either a kid an RC card
or
something.
No, dude, I think they got someone is on their hands and knees underneath that thing, just like crawling across the backyard. I the size of it might be that kid. That kid actor might still be in that suit the whole time. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to figure, kind of like, but he's on his hands and knees, like crawling. So, and it's the most. It doesn't look realistic at all, but it's got two eyeballs on the top of it that are just and a mouth. There's no mouth, right? Is there? Like, I don't know if that's
brain and then the brain guy alien in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're so funny.
Dude, I think between that and those two and the
brain guy reminded me of Mars Attacks so much.
Oh yeah, and the container monster for Psycho Goreman it was so Japanese, it was crazy. Yeah, so like
the gold guy, or bronze or gold.
Yeah,
the like bird on his shoulder.
Yeah. So, at some point, like Psycho Goreman, they give Psycho Goreman a TV to watch, to adapt human society, and somehow he like learns everything from the TV, but like he also makes it bleed blood.
A classic trope from the 80s too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we'll just bring this, and then he knows how to speak English all of a sudden. And
but they he uses the TV to call his henchmen, and they're going through the this is okay. We have to the other part about this. So they're trying to teach Psycho Goreman how to play Crazy Ball, the game, and these two cops show up, and
out of nowhere, too.
Yeah, and they're like they're trying to shoot Psycho Goreman and everything like that, and he turns one of them into this zombie, like grotesque, like all he uses is going
melty man.
Yeah, melty man. He looks like he's melting and exploding at the same time. And he kind of follows them around for the rest of the movie. And he tells the other one to go tell everyone that, Psycho Goreman's taken over this planet. And And the cop is one of the funniest characters because the rest of the movie he's like not the rest of the movie, but the next part of the movie where he's following him around, he's like he has his pistol in his hand the whole time and just is periodically firing his gun off randomly.
Because he fused the gun to his hand so it can't drop.
Yeah, I know.
Like a monster infusion gun hand.
Yeah.
But he also is like melty and doesn't have like actual eyes anymore, so it's just like.
And I don't know if he's smart anymore or what. But
no, he's not smart anymore because the girl's like asking for reassurance on something, and then the zombie guy's like, "Oh yeah, you'll do great," and he's just agreeing with you because he's a fucking zombie now.
Yeah, and then Psycho Goreman's like used to be his cronies show up, and he's like, "Kill her." To me about Mimi because he can't do anything, and they're like, "Nah, we're good."
Henchman reminded me of the guys from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he kind of reminded me. He kind of reminded me of one of Thanos' henchmen. Is what he kind of yeah. And they like, "Nah, we're good. We like running this place," and they're like, "Yeah, we share like."
We share the crown.
Yeah, and the one guy we're talking about like has the crown on now, and then then Psycho Goreman ends up
square they made him sound too with his like explanation of it.
Yeah, he's like such a dweeb.
This week is my turn with the crown, and then next week it's going to be her turn, and then his turn, and so on.
It's like it's like 8-year-olds sharing something, right? It's like it's like the class hamster pet, like it's my turn to take the hamster home over the weekend. And they start kicking the shit out of Psycho Goreman, and Mimi tells him he can't do anything, and it's so hysterical because they're all like trying to do damage to him, and he's just like on his hands and knees, and nothing is really like he's getting whipped and shit, and like it's not doing anything to him because he's like the toughest motherfucker in the planet, like in the galaxy, and Mimi makes him apologize to her, and then she lets him kick the shit out and kill all. And you're like, oh, this girl is psychotic.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's actually kind of amazing. And we're getting to the point where like the
end scene happens.
The angel shows up, who now looks like the angel robot lady who was like the guardian. It's a very, very heavy-handed usage of religion and how religion is like a tool for in like enslaving people is really what this whole movie, like that character saying the whole movie.
I love the scene where the little girl is like, oh man, she finds the crucifix and is just like, man, I don't know what I have to do, and you know what? I'm a fucking badass, and I'll figure it out. And why the fuck am I talking to you anyways? And then breaks the cross and throws it.
Yeah. She like this Mimi is fucking dope as shit. Holy crap!
Like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so you're like, because this little girl is just like, you're terrified of her at the beginning, and it keeps getting more and more. You're like, what the fuck?
She's a fucking badass.
Yeah. So the angel lady who now looks like the lady she crushed in a box. That's probably why she was like getting her DNA. DNA.
She's getting the look.
She shows up at their house and basically is like, I'm here to like,
make you a Power Ranger too.
Yeah. Well, she's like, I'm gonna kill Psycho Goreman, and Psycho Goreman had gotten hurt by his like. He says that they put his blood from this last battle he fought on their weapons, and it like poisoned
and the
him.
Tips of their weapons, so that it could penetrate his skin or poison him. Or
poison him or something with his own blood. Yeah. And what ends up happening is they the loser dad, who, by the way, that scene where he's on the toilet like talking to himself, I'm like, what this?
Look, no, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is I think one of the funniest scenes ever, because the wife is finally like completely fed up with him, and it turns into this fight that half happens, and then it hard cuts to him on the toilet finishing the fight by himself
Yep.
to himself because he's such a fucking pussy.
Yep.
He's not gonna actually have the fight with
Yep.
her. He's gonna have it by himself on the toilet.
There's so many things that you go watch this movie that he just does. Every time he does anything in the movie, he fucks it up, and you're like, oh my God, I hate him.
And then he gets Skyped by the fucking Goreman somehow. His face. And, come get me now.
Yeah, it's like it kind of reminds me of like the communicators from Star Wars, right? Like it's like the hologram comes up, and so like they,
comes back and gives him directions.
They drive,
I love this movie too.
So Mimi and the dad drive off like when the space priestess of death comes, and they go to save Psycho Goreman, and at the same time, the mom is now converted to be like the angel lady of death's like companion, Power Ranger from space, angel of priest death or whatever she is. And so they go to this warehouse, and Psycho Goreman's dying, and Luke has the
medallion thing.
Yeah, the crystal of control or whatever it is, and they end up like they're all like fighting, and then Mimi gets in the way of the angel trying to kill the Psycho Goreman, and the mom is like no, because she like the crazy religious space nut is gonna kill Mimi just because she's in the way, and they all like they take away the powers from the mom, and then they play crazy ball, and then
no, man. Then Goreman starts ripping out parts of her body and makes an awesome fucking bone sword out of it. To
that's
have
true.
A sword fight with her because she's got this like godly sword. She's like, you don't ever beat this sword from God or fucking whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'll beat you with this sword, and starts making a bone sword out of her.
Well, dude, the best part about that is her sword looks like it was made out of cardboard with like some like LED lights or something like that, and you're like, it looks so terrible but so awesome at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what it's the aesthetic. They get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that type of stuff. The amount of detail that went into it to make it look so good and so cheesy at the exact same time. It's Power Rangers. It's all, I don't know. But Goreman looks fucking rad in that end scene. Like you get to more see him looking a little more badass because he got more like blood splattered all over him. The lighting was really good on him.
Yeah,
not, like sunlight completely.
Yeah.
So he looked, like scary and badass again.
Yeah, and they all fight, and they end up, then they play crazy ball, right? And they end up winning. And what did they kill the angel lady, right? Don't they? Yeah. Oh yeah, he eats her. The warriors.
He eats her.
You fought well.
And then he's about to die, and then the whole scene where she has to pick if they trust him or not, and then the dad comes down to her level and goes, daughter, I had this day when I was a kid where a guy came up and said, hey, do you want to come and see my baseball card collection in the back of my van? And you know what I did? I went into the back of that van, and you know what happened? I had a great fucking day. It was one of the best days of my life. And you know what? Because I trusted that weirdo, you should go and trust your fucking weirdo. I'm like, this is the best, like,
it's like
deadpan, best deadpan ever. Like, every
he's like,
joke lands
he's like, I almost got molested, but I didn't. And you need to remember that. And it's
such an idiot.
And basically, the whole thing ends with Mimi going, we
trust you.
We trust you, but you can't kill me or my family. And they just let him loose, and like he goes through this portal and just starts destroying the world.
I love it. In like the same breath, he's like, "Okay, you guys can live. Okay, peace," and opens the portal, just starts blasting people in like Chicago or something, like where they're not.
Yeah, it's funny because he's like, I finally feel complete because I love you, or something. Like he feels love with Mimi.
Love,
and you're just like. Man, this
The
dude is
power
just,
of love is gonna help me destroy the universe.
and they cut to like like they're eating breakfast the next day, and the news is just Psycho Goreman destroying everything, and he's like
turned into a huge monster now. Like, how did he get big all of a sudden? I guess he has that power.
I don't even know if he was really big or if it was just a weird camera thing that they were doing with the news crew, but because it kind of looked like he was big, but it also kind of looked like they were shooting him, like they were on the ground hiding because he was killing everyone. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he was big. I don't know. But man, it's truly special what you can do when you put all this cool detail into a movie and just like make you feel like you live in a world like it does. I'm sorry, like it's like the opposite of things I've like. I even look at The Hobbit, where they stretch everything out instead of just making everything
one
just
book, and they made it 3 movies.
Yeah,
like, fuck off, man.
It feels like it does. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like you live. This universe is here and it exists and it's part of it, and you're just getting to experience.
Man.
Yeah.
Once you attach certain names or certain like, I don't know, like widespread, I guess appeal first, but then also with appeal comes the importance of, okay, this is worth a lot of money because a lot of people hold this in high regard. So like that importance in that. It's just it's kind of crazy to think about, like something that didn't exist before someone wrote it, and all of a sudden it has this much importance to it. It's powerful, man.
Yeah,
like, movies and just the written word stories are so powerful, man.
Yeah, I mean, as I've gotten older, my ADHD has gotten worse with technology around us all the time. We've had a hard time reading, and I grew up reading books all the time, horror and science fiction and fantasy, and as I've gotten older, it's been harder for me to do it.
Oh yeah, same. Because
of like that attention to detail where everything is being stimulated around you all the time, and so like movies are my escape into that storytelling realm. And I don't need to watch every movie about like storytelling, right? Storytelling though, when it's done well, is something that just gives me so much pleasure. Like when a book is really, really, really well written, or when a movie script is really, really well like written, or when like
but
just
that's
dialogue.
What, like, Thirst and stuff, like that's like a movie above the rest though, because you attach it to the right person and or group of people to make a movie, and it's gonna get done to a different level. These people that made this movie, it's a whole nother, it's the exact same thing on a different level, different subgenre of horror, but man, the love is there. Yeah. I love this movie because of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. You can often tell that when a movie's made to make money, it doesn't mean the movie can't be enjoyable or fun.
I love all the Mission Impossible movies, man. Yeah. That's it. Like, again, Tom Cruise, he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Those movies are fun, and we talk about Fast and Furious more than once. Those movies are they don't tell a story worth a shit, but they're fun movies, and they just enjoy what they are. But
it's a guilty pleasure franchise for me, but it doesn't even make sense why they're so entertaining. But it's because it's octane. It's literally just NOS. Everything that they could, like any stopping point in the writing room, add fucking NOS. Like not literally, but like how can we ramp this up to 11?
I think
we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. It's like the Simpsons did it type thing for action movie tropes. It's like, well, now Fast and the Furious done it all because they have all the money. They're the most expensive movies being made right now, man.
Yeah, but the point with all that that ends up going back around to, it's just what a movie knows what it is, it embraces it instead of trying to be one thing or not doing things correctly. It can just be enjoyed. And you and I both obviously really enjoyed this movie, and it's just like, because it goes, we know what we are. We're not trying to be a big budget, like we're not trying to be War of the Worlds made by Steven Spielberg. We're being a little environment.
Tom Cruise kind of I don't know, man. I still like that movie. That's kind of like a hidden gem, weird. Like was that movie hated? I hating it.
I hate the book because of how it contextually makes sense now. Like that book, made a lot of sense when it was written. It is one of the most anticlimactic stories to me personally ever of all. That's why I hate not the Village. What the fuck is the other Alien M. Night Shyamalan movie? It's Signs. Signs is.
I love Signs.
Signs. I know we talked about. Signs is the same exact problem with me. When a movie ending is bad or pisses me off, I hated
the ending.
Yeah, I have a hard time personally letting go of the rest of the movie at that time. Like,
but I love the rest of the movie so much, minus the stupid asthma dick hand alien. Like, come on. Don't you had one of the scariest. Like, it gave me. I haven't had shivers up the back of my neck in a movie like that scene in the news when the alien walks past the first time you see. That's all you needed, or maybe the hand under the pantry. Those two little things are the only two things you needed to see, because the rest was Hitchcock, and it was perfectly Hitchcock and made it scary. Showing it at the end, it was fucking lame.
I'll say it. I've said it before here, and I'll say it again. Not seeing is way more horrifying to me than seeing ever will be, and that's why people sometimes people don't understand that. And I've talked about it, but I've gotten shit for what Paranormal Activity and what a Blair Witch Project meant to me because of both. I think my imagination is better than a lot of people's, and just
Same
and
here,
so
man. My mind is a scary fucking place that you don't want to fucking go. I don't want to go there. If I'm actually scared, fuck, man. Like, to scare me is hard to do because I've seen so many. I'm desensitized like a motherfucker, and that's why I love creating it too, because it's an art form that I appreciate on a very high level, and I see it the exact same way you do, because as soon as you can see the glue that holds it together, man, like this movie did it on purpose, and it did it as a joke. But in a scary setting, when you see that glue, like not literal glue, but you get what I'm saying, that glue that holds it together is this thing that I don't like, and then I don't know, it's almost hard for my mind to accept it when you see it for a long period of time, because then you see through it more. And
because I was thinking about this, like I kind of feel like maybe something like The Dark and the Wicked was the scariest movie we've reviewed on this podcast, and a lot of it because of
such a metal fucking movie. It was like black metal.
Yeah, and it's that perfect, like, doesn't show anything most of the time, and when it does, it uses it to the best, like, example of what it is.
Movies like that. Like, I don't know. Those movies are like my love of like really fucking gnarly heavy music is the same place that those types of movies live in my brain. Like, I love movies like this with fucking this calm. Oh my god, man! But like that's the extremes, man. Like, I just love horror. I think you can just express yourself more freely, and openly in the horror genre, because the audience is more accepting of anything that's put in front of them. Like in other genres, I think there's almost like too many rules in place.
Yeah, you're appealing to censors or critics or whatever, and horror is just the purest. It's this purest form of cinema to me, because it is what it is and gets to do what it wants without being babysat.
Movie,
yeah. Okay, buddy. Well, this movie rocks. What are we gonna do next week? We got to figure out what we're going to go and dive into next time. I kind of want to hold off on Old Boy to episode 25, just like that first, like, not milestone, but like it's like a good like spot to go and do that. So is there something that you're
there was something that was going to, I fucking totally forgot. There was a movie that I just stumbled upon that was going to check off both boxes again. It was going to be foreign and indie.
Maybe we could figure it out. we don't need to do it this exact second unless there's something.
A Good Woman. No, that was the one. No.
Wait. I got one.
There's still.
I got something that's on Shudder that has looked super kind of crazy.
Porno still, but
porno, but
The Vast of Night, After Midnight. We got a bunch to choose from right now.
How do you feel about The Soul Collector? The Soul Collector is South African and looks batshit crazy to me. So that's one I've been thinking about. Again, it's another one of the Shudder exclusives, so I think it has an interesting concept. Okay, we're gonna do
that. Looks badass. It's got a weird 8 or infinity. Is that an 8 or an infinity sign? I guess.
I don't know which poster you're looking at. That's not the right one. The Soul Collector is the guy screaming up, and it's all red. Is the poster? Maybe that's a different poster.
IMDb.
Okay. Oh, I was looking on Shudder. So okay, cool. So next week's the Soul Collector, which is South African. So, and it looks like it's voodoo-y, like kind of thing. So
like weird voodoo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Josh, you are Josh WRB everywhere.
I am.
And I'm Rod_Johnston most places. And we are murdermoose.com. So leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever you're listening. Send us an email if you want to at murdermoosepodcast@gmail.com. And
leave a message on our website. Wait. Actually, I think someone left an actual message and I didn't relay it to you. After the last episode, someone was like, "Hey guys, like great show, blah blah blah." I was like, "Oh, cool," and then I didn't tell you about it.
God damn it, Josh! You tell me about the stupid messages all the time.
Like chair.
Yeah, chair. So well, tell me about that afterwards, and we'll talk about it next week. So. Okay, well, everybody, thank you for listening. Me and Josh, honestly, it's like one of these things I look forward to every week because I get to bullshit with Josh about this stuff. So,
hell yeah, man.
Yeah. So yes, next week, the Soul Collector. So keep being metal, everyone, and we will see you next time. Murder Moose. Bye. Oh, by the way, before we go, the little girl Mimi in this movie says bye exactly like Josh, and it's hysterical, and it made me laugh.
That's the only thing. So I have like my weeks down. Like, so Tuesday nights is the night that I've scheduled now to watch the movie for the Murder Moose that we record on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
But like, you always have like one little thing that you'll say about the movie before I watch it. Yeah. And the only thing he said before I watch this one is, she says bye exactly like and the first time she did it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. Because it's the bye as they're going away. Just to be like a fuck you.
So I love Josh, perfect. And it was perfect. So bye.
Bye.